Today I'm going to talk about the small to medium-sized video production kit that I use mainly for shooting interviews, live events, and promotional videos. The goal here is to show what I consider to be the minimum amount of gear you would need for this kind of work, and to give you an idea of what it takes to consistently and efficiently complete these types of jobs. First, a little bit about me. I have been working in video production now for over 20 years, and spent the first part of my career shooting talking head and roleplay videos for online training programs used by large corporate clients. I have also done a fair bit of still photography during that time. In more recent years, I have been focusing more on interviews and promotional work for social media. As technology keeps improving, my production setup has become smaller and more flexible. I'm usually shooting in locations where I have limited time, and it is important to get in, set up, shoot, and pack everything up as quickly as possible. Therefore, it is vital to have a compact and portable kit that is well organized. I have 3 Pelican cases containing the bulk of my gear. I have been using Pelican cases for the entirety of my production career, and I appreciate the Air line for their light and compact size. When it comes to cases, I only ever buy the style that has the padded, Velcro adjustable interiors in them because I like to rearrange the layout of the case whenever I acquire new equipment. I also find the yellow padded style interiors to be more durable than the pick and pluck foam cases. The largest case I own, a Pelican Air 1555, contains the most important equipment, my cameras. I have been fully invested in Nikon since I first purchased a D80 in 2007. When Nikon started releasing their mirrorless Z series, it made sense for me to stay within the Nikon ecosystem. I first purchased a Z6 and eventually followed that up with 2 Z6 IIs. All 3 cameras have the same sensor, so I get the same video quality out of all 3. Their autofocus is never a problem for stationary talking heads, and when I do need to take still pictures, I get that exceptional Nikon image quality. I suggest having a minimum of 2 cameras even if you're doing single-person interviews. For one-person interviews, I use camera 1 as my primary angle and camera 2 for a secondary angle that I can cut away to for variety or for creating points of emphasis when the interviewee is speaking. My third camera is set up on my gimbal ready to shoot B-roll as soon as the interview is over, or occasionally to shoot behind the scenes video during the interview. When interviewing 2 or more people, I will set up 3 cameras on tripods. In a 2-person shoot, for example, I will have an isolated camera angle on each speaker, with the third camera being a 2-shot of both speakers. All 3 camera bodies are fitted in small rig cages. I don't think I realized how much I would appreciate the flexibility and protection these cages would add until after I started using them. They have turned my cameras into a modular system. I am constantly attaching different monitors, microphones, and handles to my bodies, depending on the job that I am doing. And they are light enough that I can still mount them on a gimbal or walk around outside with them easily. I have 5 lenses that cover most of the shots I need. 4 of these are Z-mount lenses. The first is my 28mm f2.8. This is a lightweight, wide-angle lens that I use mainly for gimbal shots. My 50mm f1.8 is used mainly for medium shots and close-ups during interviews. My 24-70mm kit lens is a great little workhorse that I use for wide-angle and medium shots. My 24-200mm lens is my everyday walk-around zoom lens that I don't normally use for interviews. I occasionally use it for shooting live events when I am in a large venue and need to zoom in for close-ups on the speakers at the front of the room. And finally, my F-mount 85mm f1.8, which is on a Z-mount adapter, is used for tight shots and close-ups of interviewees. Also in this case, I have some ND filters and adapters, as well as my Nikon speed lights, an SB600 and an SB800, and my Godox trigger system for flash photography. Finally, I have my Joyo camera strap, a bunch of small rig handles, memory cards, and extra EN-EL15 batteries. Next, I have my DJI Ronin SC with an extra small rig handle attached to the bottom. This gimbal is a few generations old at this point. I believe it was DJI's first compact gimbal. I have thought about upgrading to one of the newer DJI models, but really this one does everything I need it to do. It's simple to operate and has lockable axes. I usually only use a gimbal for 15 to 30 minutes at the end of my interview shoots to capture a bit of B-roll, or for when I'm shooting a promotional video. My next Pelican case, a Pelican Air 1485, is my video accessory case. Here I have two Atomos Ninja Vs, which are invaluable for extending the recording functionality of my Z6 and Z6 IIs, as well as providing a larger viewing screen with extended monitoring capabilities like focus peaking. I have a third monitor, an inexpensive Neewer field monitor that comes in handy when I'm operating 3 cameras at once. I also use it for monitoring web conferencing software when shooting virtual interviews. This case also contains a bunch of small rig and Neewer clamps, arms, and adapters for mounting the monitors, as well as a few HDMI cables for connecting them to the cameras. I also keep a pair of spare headphones in this case, as well as a number of Sony NP style batteries. These batteries fit all of my monitors, as well as my small portable LED lights that I will show in a minute. My third Pelican case, also an Air 1485, is my audio accessory case. Well, mostly audio accessories. I do have a couple of LED lights in here as well. The main component of this case is my Zoom H6 handy recorder. I have done an entire video on this device that details all of the ways I use it, but the main use for it, in the context of shooting interviews and live events, is as an audio recorder and interface between my microphones and cameras. Any of the microphones can be connected to the H6. All audio coming from the mics gets recorded onto the H6's SD card, as well as onto each camera via a pass-through cable coming from the H6's line out and into the camera's mic jacks. I also have a selection of lavalier microphones in this case, both wired and wireless. The two wireless Sennheiser mics are about 20 years old, and I don't use them that often. They are handy for instances when your speaker is moving around or needs to be free of cables, but I find that they are sometimes noisy and can pick up outside interference. I have 4 Comica wired lapel mics, which are newer and provide a much cleaner and stable sound. If I am recording multiple people at one time, I will usually use my wired mics. Finally, in this case, I have a Rode Video Micro compact on-camera mic, which I use most often on my gimbal when shooting outdoors. I also have a Beachtech DXA Pocket audio interface, which I really don't use much anymore since I have my Zoom H6, but it is an easy way of connecting and monitoring up to 2 microphones to a camera while being able to control their audio levels independently. As well, I have 2 cheap LED lights that I use as fill lights or for lighting small setups. Now for some items that don't fit inside Pelican cases. First, I have my tripods, which are obviously a very important part of the kit. I have 3 tripods in total, and all of them are Manfrotto. Manfrotto is my favorite brand for tripods, as they are durable, well-manufactured, easy to use, and reliable. I have 2 with fluid heads, the MVT 502AM being a light-duty video tripod with twin legs. My favorite tripod is a Manfrotto 055 X Pro B. with an MHX Pro BHQ6 ball head attached. This is one of those can't live without it pieces of equipment, as it can do so much. Its center column flips from vertical to horizontal mode, which makes it very easy to mount your camera over top of a scene. Combine this feature with the fact that you can spread its legs out very wide, and you can now have your camera mounted very low to the ground. It is also relatively light and compact. I also have a Manfrotto MPM-X Pro A4 monopod that is useful for mounting to the bottom of my gimbal for extra stabilization, or when I need something to mount my camera on that is more portable than a full tripod. Next, I have an old motorcycle bag that I bought at a garage sale that is full of cables. I have a couple of wind-up extension cords, XLR cables, HDMI cables, and USB cables in here. I don't always take this full bag with me on every shoot. Sometimes I only take the 2 or 3 items out of this bag that I need. This big bin is a catch-all for all of the other small bits and pieces that I have. Small pieces of grip, gaffer tape, batteries, power cords, adapters, etc., etc. I don't always take this bin on every shoot. I usually just pull what I need out of it and put it in one of my other cases or backpacks. Here I have the components that make up my boom mic system. I have a Cameron LS65B boom stand, a Sennheiser shotgun mic, as well as XLR and 3.5mm audio cables to get sound from the mic to the Zoom H6 and right on through to the cameras. My current lighting kit consists of 2 Manfrotto quick-release light stands and 2 Lowell 750-watt Rifa lights. These lights are about 20 years old and are very well used, as you can see, but they provide a lot of light and are quick to set up. The downside of these lights is that they are hot, and you can't adjust the color temperature or light output. I plan on upgrading these to some Godox LED video lights or something similar at some point. I think it's important to mention how I transport my gear. All of this equipment will easily fit in a car or a small SUV. I live in a big city with a subway system, so when a job is accessible by transit, I will often pack the bare minimum, strap all of my lighting, stands, and boom to a dolly, and carry the camera bodies and lenses in a backpack. There you have it. Most people who are videographers and photographers are also really into their gear, and that is the case for me as well. Each piece of equipment, from the lens to the lighting, plays a crucial role in capturing the perfect shot, making the process as rewarding as the final product. It really is satisfying to put together a collection of equipment that not only produces great results, but is also fun to use. While the gear I've outlined here serves me well, there's always room for some experimentation. What gear do you have in your kit? Which camera brand do you swear by? Do you have any suggestions for alternative pieces of gear that would come in handy for a setup of this size? I'd love to hear your feedback. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.